Okay, so this is the second part of the video where I'm going to show you what's wrong with this thing to begin with, and then reassembling it so you can see all the parts and bits that go into this muffle furnace. All right, so I'm putting this video together, and it occurs to me I should probably say something about safety in this one. First of all, this furnace is 220, and you could get hurt if you're not playing with electricity right. And the other thing is, it gets really, really hot, and if it was broken in some way, kind of like it is, things could go south pretty quick. So have your fire extinguisher handy and a voltmeter, and be safe when you're playing with electricity, because it'll hurt the whole time you're dying. Okay, so here's the problem. Somebody melted something straight through the plate, and right over here where the nichrome wire used to go into the heating element, it looks like it just completely melted through, or I don't know. It doesn't work now. So the bottom of this thing is all pitted out, but then this section is pretty good. So I'm gonna reverse the order that this is put in so that it'll still be, have the best insulation towards the chamber when I put it back together. All right, so let's talk about why this could still work. So the power supply is connected here. Okay, and it goes into this heating element, comes out of this heating element, it's jumpered to the next one on the wall. So it goes through this heating element, and then it's jumpered over across to the other side, goes through this heating element, and it used to be jumpered to the bottom heating element, so that and then terminated here, so the other power leg was attached here. But since this is dead, it's completely baked, all I need to do is attach the power supply leg to that terminal, and it should all be good. Now that it's all connected. When I pulled this apart, I found out that the thermocouple was also really loose, so that probably wasn't working either. So check this out. There's no way I'm going to get this screw in, because I've got to hold this piece, I've got to hold this piece, and I've got to hold the screwdriver. So check this out. Cheat. Yep, that gets it. All right, so I'm doing a little modification on how this thing's assembled back together. I made these little clips, and I'm using this hole. This hole used to be used to hold the bottom plate onto the furnace, but this screw does the same thing on the outside edge, and that's the only one that was holding the skirt on. All right, so now I'm using this clip instead. The main reason I'm using that clip is because on this hole, and this is the one that holds the skirt on, in order to get to that screw, you have to take off the switch that holds the bottom on. And I plan to get back into this thing to make some other changes later. So I want this to be easy to take on and off. Okay, the oven's upside down, but if it were in the right side up, gravity would be closing this door, and it would keep the door from standing open because of this weight off to the side. All right, so then on the corner of it, see here, there's this little piece of wire that gets pushed down or up if you're looking at it the normal right way around. And when that happens, that wire gets pulled, and you can see that switch closing over there. So here, we're in operation mode. Here the switch is open, and we get no heat. And that is essentially turning on and off the back side of the on and off switch over here. All right, so one of the things I really like about this old unit here is it's not very complicated. It's pretty easy to work in, and there's just a ton of empty space in the middle. And I've got some plans for some other modifications to make to this. And all this extra empty space really makes this very hackable. All right, when I disassembled this, I took note of which end was the positive lead, and I wrapped some foil around it so it'd be easy to find. And I just have to match that up here to the lead that's labeled positive, and I'm good to go. Okay, this is the first test run. Got everything all wired back up again. So power on. The power light's on, and no smoke. Okay, so I'm going to turn the percent time knob from off to 0. Okay, the relay cycled. There's the relay cycling again. I think that's working. Okay, so I've got a little tester here, little blink red when there's current. And right now there's, well, now this relay cycled and it's hot. So it looks like it's working.